National Market Update, January 2022. So what do we have in store for the year ahead 2022? Well, looking at where we are right now and what is going on sheds great insight on what we should expect in the upcoming year. So let's be clear, my own personal prediction for the real estate housing market for 2022 is that we will continue to see increases in house prices. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe and ask some questions. Okay, back to the update. I believe that what we are going to see in the upcoming year is very similar to what we experienced in 2021. Prices going up, interest rates remaining low, although I do believe we will see some increase in interest rates, but relative to historical rates, they will still be relatively low. The lack of inventory, the high demand of buyers, and the low interest rates are a sure sign of the housing market continuing to increase. According to a recent report from the National Association of Realtors, growth in the housing inventory has slowed over the past decade in the aftermath of the 2008 housing crisis, creating an underbuilding gap of like 5 to 6.8 million houses units across the United States since 2001. What else is happening that renders a positive real estate forecast for 2022 is rents and housing prices continue to increase due to the low supply and high demand. We're at a 4.2% unemployment rate, which closely matches the unemployment rate back in March 2020 before the pandemic started. Job creation, new jobs coming to the market, has mostly continued to increase month over month since the pandemic hit. But we are still not back to normal. We're about 4 million jobs short. The total non-farm payroll, which is the total number of U.S. workers in the economy that excludes proprietors, mostly has continued to rise since the pandemic hit. This graph shows the number of payroll jobs in the U.S. rising, but not quite back to where we were prior pandemic. We see a surge of home sales since the pandemic, and this past year was the most amount of homes sold in 2021 than the number of homes sold per year in the past 15 years. Median home prices have soared to all-time highs at over $400,000. National Association of Realtors asked 23 real estate economists and experts about their forecasts on inflation. Here's a list of the experts and economists that they surveyed. The average was 4%, which by historical standards is still high. Ideal inflation is 2%. However, their prediction of 4% inflation is double the ideal rate, but not as bad as the anticipated 6.8%. You can see from this graph what each of the 23 predicted, with the lowest predicting 2.7% inflation rate and the highest at 7.5%, but the average is still 4%. What about home price appreciation? The average consensus is that home prices will rise 5.7% from our expert panel. But remember, last year they predicted home prices would increase by 6.8%, and the actual increase for 2021 was more like 20%. So let's hope we see higher numbers than anticipated. Here you see one expert on the negative end of the median appreciation decreasing by 10%, and on the positive side, two experts predicting as high as 12% median home price increase. The median panelists agree that the Federal Reserve will be raising interest rates 2 times next year. This is the average consensus. The average being with 11 experts predicting that, but only 8 experts are predicting only 1 interest rate hike. It's important to understand that from an affordability standpoint, a consumer buying a home today versus a year ago, their payment is going to be less now, even though prices have gone up since the interest rates are so low. So based upon all this data, with interest rates still incredibly low and with the number of new homes across the country that are still completely depressed and needing more new homes to support buyer demand, as well as the fewer number of homes hitting the market, my guess is that 2022 real estate market forecast is going to be hot, hot, hot. Pretty much a replica of what we saw in 2021. There was so much demand and lack of inventory that prices just kept on creeping up. Buyers were willing to pay more for homes than what homes were listed for across the board, and giving sellers pretty much anything they wanted. Sellers had all the leverage and were taking offers with little or no contingencies and the terms of the contract mostly were in the seller's favor. In my opinion, based upon the data, this year's going to be exactly the same. So let's do a quick recap, because I know that was a lot. On a positive note, the economy looks good, the tide seems to be rising, buyers want to buy and they want to buy a lot. Rates are low and should remain low relative to historical rates. The market is incredibly attractive to sellers. Sales will stay competitive, solid, and strong next year, and home prices will keep rising. The bad news and what is continuing to dampen our housing market is still we're not building enough homes. There are more buyers than there are homes. Obviously, the pandemic has created challenges for all of us. It's getting harder and harder for first-time home buyers to even enter the market because of the increase in prices and low inventory levels. If you're looking to buy or sell in Fort Worth, Texas or surrounding areas, please reach out to us. We'd love to take care of you and help you sell your house or buy a house. Hope this video was helpful and not too long. If you're looking for more real estate market updates, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Living in Fort Worth, Texas, and I'll see you soon.